Oh, hello there, and welcome back to another RSG Lunch Stream. I'm Ranger J 1999, one of your hosts and part of the RSG crew. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the show and wondering what the hell this is you're watching, this is where we hang out with you good folks for the next hour or so, bring you some quality entertainment, have some laughs, do a roster review, and we'll answer questions if you have any. If you have any questions, then all you need to do is put the word question in front of your statement in the chat, and we will get those scooped up and get those read out. Glad to have everybody aboard. Glad everybody's here. Hope you're having a great hump day. Let's introduce the panel as we have them showing. We've got, of course, the one and only Dr. Finn, medicine woman, the troll extraordinaire, who will be scooping up your questions. Dr. Finn, how's it going?
Ooh, I am just an illusion. Ooh.
Dr. Finn's not really human.
I am definitely a zombie.
He's a zombie porg from another planet.
I need brains. Brains.
Okay, that's getting out of hand. Also join us, of course, is Grim the Mechanic.
How's it going?
We also have Grandi was here. I don't know where he went. Maybe he'll be back.
He had a phone call
from the afterlife. And then also join us, Xylo Takedown.
Hey, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. What is my apprentice dressing as?
He's gonna be going with his mom. They're going to like this little church group party.
That's not.
He's going to be a giraffe.
That's wrong. How dare you dress my apprentice? He needs black robes and a sword. Get on it, Zella. You're feeling horrible. All right. So if you get those questions, go ahead and get those in. That's our panel. Hope everyone's having a great day. It's all quiet on the CG front. I don't know what to tell you folks, other than I have no idea. Maybe we'll get an update today. I don't know what's going on. But we're going to do a roster review, and then we'll get in it. So let's see here. Today we are doing Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, DL Sheets, and they're in Dark Lord's Empire.
Sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Grande? We're not doing Dark Lords without Grande. Where the hell is he?
He's doing costumes and eating candy and sitting in the pool. He's sitting in the pool.
Freaking Grande.
Yeah.
Always Grande.
Yes, guys, I'm using my old mic because my Bluetooth, the power thing for the microphone, died, so I'm using my other headset that I have. So unfortunately, it's be like this time I go get that power cord cable for this thing. Pain in the ass. I'm just sitting there. It's starting to loose. I'm like, well, let me see if I can. I was like, it broke. Get the.
We'll get it figured out.
So, all right. So, what does Dark Lord Sheets want us to look at today?
All right. So the main thing he wants us to look at is where he should be focusing. He was focusing on his Nightmare team, but he's afraid with the meta change and all of that his Nightmare team wouldn't be all that useful moving forward. And so having an idea about where he should go next, he was thinking about his Night Sisters. Potentially, maybe he should do his Bounty Hunters. So that was his main question. And then whether or not he should try and push for Revin next time. And even though he may not have a lot of his Jedi ready, should he start working towards his Revin and Chewie?
I mean, those are two good. I mean, so in regards to the Nightmare team, it has its uses. How can I? What's the best way?
They're useful for it, especially if you're going to get Treya.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Revin for about 3 to 4 months, right? And I think Empire is now beating and I think this is the correct guild, if I remember, which is that I think Empire has been now killing the heroic Sith for about a month now.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're probably going to get your Treya before you get your actual Revin chance again. And so you do want to start working on your Nightmare team because a lot of those will overlap with what you have with your with your Nightmare team. You're going to use Nihilus, you're going to use Scion, you can potentially use Emperor Palpatine, right? You're going to want to work on your Sith Trooper. I mean, there's a lot in the Nightmare team that overlaps because it's all Sith pretty much anyways, right? So I would say work on your Nightmare team. It is better than Jedi Training Rave for Arena. You should be able to get higher in Arena with your Nightmare team, even though it may fall behind Traya, it may fall behind Bastila, it may fall behind Revin. It's still one of the teams that you can push pretty well in Arena with. And so you work with Emperor Palpatine lead for now. You switch over to Traya afterwards, and you should have a good setup moving forward.
Yep. And it's the best bang for your buck, you know. It is. You know, Nihilus, Emperor Palpatine, you know, you work with what you got and do the best you can. You know, I mean, you can't chase the meta. You can only work with what you got. And here's a general first glimpse at what you got here. I mean, you're doing the right things, and we're about to break down your teams. But you were going to say something, Grim?
Yeah, I was going to say, if he's going for Sith, I'd recommend he try to work on getting his Maul up, too. Because if he's going to get Traya and all them up, a Maul-led Triumvirate is, you know, a really good counter to the Revin squads right now.
I mean, that's like one of those investments if you already made it, yeah. You know, I mean, like...
I don't see Enfys.
That's even worse,
yeah. He doesn't have
Enfys is Gear 9 3-star. That's not going to survive against that team.
Well, so he can get it to Gear 11 and put health mods on it, and it will work.
He can. 3-star is still kind of risky, though. 3-star is going to be pretty squishy. It's going to die really, really quick if you're not careful. Because now those Revin teams are so overpowered on offense. Like, if your Grandmaster Yoda gets off one shot before Nest starts gathering protection, your good Nest is gone.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty brutal. Okay, so let's look at what he's trying to farm. Let's look at GG's kind of fighting me, but let's filter. First, let's look at two characters that are now legendary, heroic journeys that we have to go for to add to your repertoire, because you've got all the other pieces, which is really, really good. First one, why did you do that? GG, quit fighting me, you son. It's Halloween, quit farting around with me on Halloween. So let's look at your bounty hunters. I see where we're at on those.
Meanwhile, one of the gremlins in GG's is going...
I know, right? Well, I fed Finn after midnight last night, and
well,
you're
screwed.
Yep, don't feed Finn a Twinkie after midnight.
Yeah, Mac White. So look at your bounty hunters. You've got Boba Fett. You need to get him to at least Gear 11. IG-88, Gear 11. Greedo, you can take to 11 if you want. The big one is Boss. So before the next Chewie event comes out, one of the hard nodes you should be working on is Boss. He is a phenomenal leader. He, in my opinion, is the best leader for the bounty hunters there is. You see in a lot of territory wars the bounty hunters being used on defense because of this, and they're a great offensive team too, don't get me wrong, but on defense they're really great because they regenerate health and protection. They're nasty. They're very, very nasty. Boss leader is where it's at. Two characters you're going to need for the Chewie event, and I think we're all in accord on this, is that for the Chewie event to unlock him at 7 stars, there's two key components. Boss with the Zeta lead. Now, you can beat it with Boba Fett lead or a Jango lead or something. People did it. But the easiest path of least resistance is two characters, and that's Zeta Bosk, Gear 11, and Dengar. And Dengar only needs to be, I had mine at 10. The reason, and as long as his abilities are good, you're fine. But he prevents them from stealthing. Boss keeps your team alive, and then you let Boba Fett, Greedo, whichever other damage dealer you want. It doesn't have to be IG-88. You can go Greedo, Cad Bane. You can go whatever you want to do, whatever you want to farm on. But that's really where you make your money, and you're just basically executing as many times as you can on these characters. This will allow you to get your Chewbacca. the vast majority of people that beat that event used Boss, Zeta, and they did have Dengar. Other people did beat it, don't get me wrong, but the path of least resistance, learn from our mistakes. I have 9 hours of trying, Boba Fett. No, I'm not the best, but don't.
That was most entertaining.
Yeah, don't be Ranger. Don't do the Ranger thing. So let's get ahead of the curve and let's get Zeta Boss. Because I'll give you the example. Finn had Zeta Boss, 7-star. He beat it like first, second try. Ranger didn't, and he spent 9 hours trying to get it until he could get a 7-star Zeta Boss. If that doesn't tell you what you need to be doing, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yep, be like Finn.
Be like Finn, not like Ranger. All right? That's pretty much what it means.
And then if things go wrong, hashtag I blame Finn.
Well, yeah, I did blame Finn a lot. Like, Finn, why did you do this to me? Those kind of things. So, but we're looking solid on the Bounty Hunters. Let's just get Bosk and Dengar. Dengar's an easy farm. Boss is just a hard node farm, but, you can get him, so start farming him up. And then the other team that everybody's worried about is the Old Republic, because they want to get Revin the next time around. So let's look at your Old Republic.
Ew, they need work.
Well, I figured they were going to. All right, so your farm.
He has a lot of other things he's focusing on, so
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, does he want to? So if you're not,
I would start focusing on Old Republic, but I'm just saying he's been working on other things, obviously.
Oh, sure.
And
I'm not just
randomly ignoring it. He's pretty focused. I'm not
disparaging him in any way. I'm just like, okay, let's get going.
No. But Stilla and Jolie are gonna be kind of like guild farm these two characters, even if you don't have Revin.
I'll also say,
unfortunately, Revin is the most overpowered broken character in the game right now.
It's ridiculous.
So.
Oh man, Territory Wars. They put up some. I think they had 16 to our 22. Their last Revin went after 26 attempts.
Jesus.
I rest my case.
Yeah. 26.
This ain't Mike is not. Mike is not a scrub when it comes to this.
And that's just wrong.
Well,
that's the game broken.
You can't give a character like that turn meter. You can't. If that team has turn meter, God help you, because they're going to keep going first, and God bless you, because that scenario doesn't shock me at all, because you cannot. Out of any team, you cannot allow a Revin team to have turn meter. If you lose and are losing, you back the hell up and let someone else try, because you're just asking for pain if you do that. Oh my God, 26, Jesus. But yeah, if you're going to farm Old Republic, so your farming method is that if we're going to do Boss to finish up Bounty Hunters, add Dengar in there, right? So you add Boss as one of your hard nodes. Basla is one of your hard nodes. Jolie is one of your hard nodes, and Zalbar. It's going to take you about 400. I think I did the math. 460 total energy, just not without a refresh or anything, just to farm those characters with the 8 every day. Because I think Jolie's 128, Zalbar is like 96, Basla I think is a 20, so she's 160, and I think Bosk is 16 or 20. I don't remember. I think he's 20. If someone could verify that for me, that'd be good. But roughly around 450, 460. And then for your mission and your T3, you just go get T3 to 4-star. Then go get mission to 4-star. Then go get T3 to 5-star. Then you take mission.
Mine be hard for Bosk, so yeah, 20.
Yeah, so it's 320. Oh, 2. So 3. Actually, my math is wrong. I was a little low on that estimate. 320, 400. You need 500 energy a night to do it, which is, I think, 1 or 2. You would need 250 refreshes on your crystals to make sure you're getting the 8 every day. I think that's well within the parameters of doing that. So you can add that character and farm those characters and be good to go. If those are the 2 characters, and I recommend Chewie's a phenomenally good character to have. If you have him unlocked already, then he's great. Get him to gear 11. If you have him 7 stars, Chewie, man, in that with Chewie, CLS, and Han is ridiculous. It kills so much crap. It's not even fair. You know, you can take crew. You can kill Traya teams. The only team it's kind of is Revin, but because you get to go first with Han and you can focus fire and stuff. It is really nasty. So it can be done. All right.
It shuts down lots of teams.
It does. It's ridiculous how good that team is on offense.
And it makes military might a breeze.
Yeah. That goes without saying.
Yeah, I've even seen Revin, the Yodas, and then Han and Chewie. That's pretty nasty too.
All right, let's see here. But yeah. So those are two. For your farm, I think that's where you need to go next. Let's focus on getting those legendary characters. You're going to get some great tunes out of it by doing that. If you get your bounty hunters up, that's a great team for Territory Wars and Old Republic. A lot of the tunes, of course, if you get Revin, the Jedi team is great. Zalbar can be used on a Kira team. There's a lot of good places for these characters, so you're getting a lot of value out of farming these characters, and I think they're worth it. All right, so that's kind of where his farming is at. What else did we need to look at? Is that just all you wanted us to look at, Dr. Finn?
Yeah, just overall his farming and the direction he should go. So.
Yeah, let's stick with that direction. Your overall roster, it's solid. You've done the right things, I can tell, because I always look to see, are all possible legendary heroics done? Because if not, then we automatically, our first thing is to guide you to that. Because the characters that come out of these events are disgusting. JTR, CLS, R2, BB-8, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Emperor Palpatine, Grandmaster Yoda, Chewbacca, Revin now. So for now, I would focus on those. You've got some really solid pieces. Keep rocking and rolling and doing what you're doing. I think you'll be fine. I think if you stick with that plan of farming those characters, let's work toward finishing up in our Chewbacca, and then working on getting our Old Republic done. And I think I think that'll help you tremendously, because once you unlock those, then you're just going to start going. I think if we can get caught up on these legendaries and heroics, and get those teams done, even if the event hasn't come out, then you can start focusing on two things. One, you can start focusing on specific teams to gear, which you can still do. These characters, you don't have to worry about gearing. We're just doing the star farm right now. It's not about gearing anything or doing anything like that. It's just about getting the stars on Bosk and these guys. But as you get geared, then you can still keep working on your gear and stuff like that. You can still work on, if you have a team that you're trying to finish up gear, or Zetas, go for it, whether it's First Order, Night Sister, or something like that. But this is just your farm aspect of the game. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep rocking and rolling. You'll be fine. I know it seems daunting. We did Tits' roster review for the Patreons last night, and that's one thing I kept telling her. She feels overwhelmed sometimes, because she's like, I feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm like, no, you are. When you see the improvement you made in all these different areas, you're farming the right characters, you're making the right steps, and that's what it's all about. And it's funny, as you start matriculating all this stuff down the line, one day you look at your roster like, hey, well, what do you know? So
you can finally farm gear.
Hey,
yeah. If you start it, the gear will follow.
Yeah. I didn't see if he had two characters I'm looking for real quick. Is Hermit Yoda and Wampa.
Hermit Yoda 6-star, okay, so level 1 gear 1.
Yeah, he's farming them, so okay, good. So if you are farming Hermit Yoda, finish him up, then go get your Wampa. I know it's tempting to go for that gear, but trust me, get those two characters done. They add a lot to your roster. Especially Hermit Yoda. Hermit Yoda's disgusting.
Gear 12 does not add a lot to your roster.
No.
I'm running my 6-star Hermit Yoda in Arena on my alt account. 5-star Bastilla, 6-star Hermit Yoda, 6-star General Kenobi, and for me, I'm not serious with the alt. The alt does what it needs to do, does its 600s for the guild it's in and whatnots, but I'm always surprised by just what it can take, that squad.
Mm-hmm.
Bastilla lead, I've got Ezra, Hermit Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda. Yeah, It's
Toyota.
Hermit Yoda is just he's one of the Swiss Army knives of.
He's really good. Hermit
Yeah,
Yoda is
everywhere.
He's a top 10 character in my opinion because he doesn't do any damage, but man, does he help your teams in so many different phases kick ass. Whether there's arena, territory battles, territory wars, events, he's filthy. He is a filthy little frog that just does what he does. All right.
Yep, one of the most versatile characters in the game, I think.
No, I agree with that statement. So Sheets, that's kind of where we want you to focus in on right now. So let's attack and make that happen. It's going to be tempting to be turned away. Oh, don't do it. Just stick with that plan, man. I guarantee you'll love the results when you get your Chewbacca and you get your Revin, and then you've got all these other characters geared and ready to go with them. You'll be good to go, man. So let's look on those next two. So for the next time it comes around. So what I'm doing, and if I can do it, brother, you can do it with me. So I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm farming the same characters you are. So I'll stick with it. You can stick with me on it. So we're in this together, my friend. All right. So that was Sheets' roster review. Now, if you guys would like a roster review, we offer these, and the way it works is all you need to do is have your GG page, send it to Dr. Finn Medicine Woman, and then make sure he responds that he got it, and then he'll add you to our queue, and then it takes about 2 to 3 weeks before we get to it, but when we do, we'll.
Oh no, it's more. It's about 4 or 5 weeks now.
Oh wow.
We have a
popular.
growing queue because people are requesting it, but we're trying to work through it.
We're
Yeah,
getting
the
it.
queue has gotten larger since Grande has all of Dark Lords asking for roster reviews.
For reviews before Christmas, get your requests in right now, boys and girls.
Yeah. So with that being said, if you guys want a roster review, just get it to Dr. Finn. We'll get to it as fast as we can. I mean, a lot of people want roster reviews. We do these for free and stuff. So, it's a little effort to get in there, and make sure that just let Dr. Finn know what you want us to focus in on your roster. What do you need help with? What do you want us to look at? Whether it's mods, characters, who to farm, your arena, all that kind of stuff. So, all right. What the hell's that in the background? Who is?
It's your apprentice.
For the record, I was muted.
My-
I've unmuted to say for the record.
Apprentice is watching television. That is all right. Turn it to the History Channel of the Republic. Let's see here. All right, so Shield, thank you for letting us do that. Let us get to some questions, and I will go do the events. I think the same events. Oh, we've got. Let's see, we've got Defense of Dathomir again, and then Home 1 Fleet Mastery. Well, let's see how many Zetas I get out of this. I got 2 yesterday. I'll probably get 2 today, but we'll do it anyway. We'll go in with our 9th.
Good luck.
I've got.
I'm liking the fact that we're getting like a minimum 4 Zetas from this at the moment.
But yeah, it makes a big difference. All these events where you can get these extra Zetas, it's really nice.
Yeah, well, considering they're throwing out so much content, and all the new content has at least 1 Zeta. Some have more.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I give credit for CG for doing these events where you can pick up these extra Zetas. Now, you have to get the characters there to do these. I mean, they're not easy, but once you do get into that position, it just helps with your farm. So, in that aspect, I think CG's done a good job of supplementing Zetas and other gear and things of that nature to the community in that way.
Yeah, it makes the farming a little less seamless,
Oh, yes.
Makes it go by a lot faster.
All right. First question is from Ski Trooper, and his question is: they've made top 10 in the Sith raid so important in terms of rewards. With Revin now producing such high scores, what do you advise players without Revin but in high-end guilds to do? Should they accept lower scores and focus resources elsewhere, or focus on particular teams for the raid? Well, I don't give a crap about Sith raids. I don't think the rewards are actually all that.
It's still random, man. I mean, in each of the raids, I finished, top 10 and gotten like ridiculously bad loot, and then I've finished 30 before, not really trying, and got 2 solid pieces. And I'm just sitting there going, "How does this work?" It's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I
mean,
think the importance of so admittedly, I was one of those where when I saw Gear 12 pieces and the plus 12 speed, right, that felt like it was going to make a big difference. And to some extent, it did. But really, there's only a few characters that you really need to be going first in order to really change anything, right? You have maybe Revin, right? Revin, you need a lot of speed. You may need Hermit Yoda if you're running a Bastila team. You may need Thrawn or Enfys if you're running that team. There aren't a lot of characters where that 12 speed makes a huge difference. Nor do the stats make a huge difference. They help, don't get me wrong. They're good to have, and if you can get gear 12 plus pieces, it's nice. But for the most part, I mean, it's not a huge issue. And the mats for the mods are nice as well, but the difference between the rankings isn't huge for that either. So honestly, I mean, I've more or less just been like, yeah, our guild is getting heroic Sith on farm. I'm okay with not really letting other people get the loot and stuff, so I'm not even really bothering with it, and I'm not really feeling the impact of the gear. Like, my roster is growing quite nicely, and I don't have any issues with it. So I would say that the focus on the gear and the mod aspect of it is important, but shouldn't be overstated. And I think any person that's doing heroic Sith is able to overcome kind of that difference. So,
yeah, and like to address the score aspect of it too. Not a lot of people are gonna jump on Aura Singh when she becomes farmable, and she's right around the corner too, and that'll boost your your phase 3 team, and that kind of separates the gap if you can run multiple teams in each phase, right? So if you're running Chex Mix and a Aura Sing team in phase 3, that'll boost your score exponentially. And then, another thing is like Revin's more successful in P2 right now, right? So, throw as many teams as you can at P2 while your raid's going, and hope for the best. Just run as many teams as you can, as fast as you can. Don't worry about perfect play. And when you're in a top guild like Mighty Chlorians or something like that too, the raid goes by so fast, so you're scratching to get damage, and it does become the caveat of what you have in your roster and what you have time to run. So
P2 is the only phase that I ever actually want to do in that raid. I'm
I'm the opposite. I love P4. I just go in there with my nine sisters and like, wee.
Yeah.
But that's my issue, is the fact that P1, it's
J2.
Jedi Training Raid.
Well, you can do like Yodelicious, or you can do. There's like a Vader team too.
You can, but if
if you have Revin, you're going to use Yoda in phase 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So P1 is Jedi Training Raid. I mean, that's kind of like the go-to squad. Obviously, if you don't have her, then you can't. But for the majority of heroic Sith raiders, P1 JTR, P2 whatever you fancy, P3 Chex Mix, or a variation of P4 Night Sisters. It's so fixed. There is and we've got 163 characters. And we've just gone through and listed, and those are the characters for the heroic Sith raid. It just doesn't promote actually investing into your roster, which just seems ridiculous. Sorry, I'm just.
No, you're right, and it goes back to what we said about the evolution of the game, right? There's two things there's two ways you can kind of add on to the game in order to grow with the player base. The first one is the addition of new content, right? So they added territory battles. They added territory wars. They're adding content that allows people to play, right? The problem is each time you add something new, then what you're doing is increasing the time that's needed in the game. And this is a mobile game. It's not a PC game, right? It's not a platform game. It's a mobile game. And the mobile games are pretty much designed so that you can maybe you ideally want to be able to pick up this game maybe once or twice a day, right? And a lot of people do it during bathroom breaks and something like that. You pick up the game, you do what you need to do, you spend your energy or something, right? And then you leave it. And then you come back later, you have your energy filled up again, and then you kind of continue. the game has gotten to the point with so many like fixed time increments, right? Whether it's territory wars starting at like 2 p.m. Eastern time right now, or your arena being at 6 or 7 p.m. and then your fleet being after that. Like they added all these things where you increase the number of times you have to log into the game. And if they add another raid in order to add difficulty to what you're saying, right, then the problem is you're just going to increase the time needed in the game. And you're leaving things like, for example, Rancor. Rancor, like tier 7, is something that's super easy, right? They already kind of showed, and I don't know if this is kind of foreshadowing anything, but you know, they, like in the trailer for Revin, right, they showed Revin with the Rancor. And so it might be an opportunity for them to be like, yeah, instead of adding a new raid, let's add a tier 8 to the Rancor, which will give you your Han Solo shards just like you got in tier 7, and we'll add something else to it for kind of the next level, right? And that can be a harder progression designed for, let's say, level 85 gear 12, and you'll need like 2 or 3 teams per person per phase or something like that. And that way you don't create a new raid in order to cause this, right? You want to go into the you want to build on your existing stuff, but they don't have that mentality. They keep on adding new things in the game, so I don't foresee that ever happening. But it's a way that they need to, I think, consider evolving the game, which is just building upon your existing content and not causing additional time sinks for people, because people just don't have the time to play this game anymore. There's too many things to do. Like, people can't even, I know you're saying like the Heroic has those teams anyways, right? Like the specific teams, Mike. But honestly, and I don't know about you, so I'm asking this, so I'm not sure the answer. How many times do you actually have the time in order to sit down and do the actual raids, let alone getting kind of bored with the fact that you only have certain tunes that you can use?
That's an issue for me at the moment. Last 2 Heroic Sith raids, I've pretty much autoed just to put an attack in. It's like, oh crap! There's the 2 parts to it. One is, of course, is that everyone, as you know, like with anything, you tend to show improvements over time. So the Heroic Sith is now over quite quickly. The phases go through extremely quickly. It's like, can you get on to register something? And do you have the time to do it? Yeah. Yeah, for me and my guild, we raid right smack bang in the middle of family time. So I've got to be really antisocial. I mean, you know, my family don't fully accept the amount I already spend on the game. But then when you pick it up and it's like, oh, I'm just going to... And it's like, really? You've just had to do this. You've just done your arena. You've just done your ships. Now you're just going to do a raid? Yeah. You know, it's... Yeah, it's... You're right. It's... And, again, this was an issue that was taken up by CG a while back about the amount of time, the quality of life, the simming this and simming that. And yet, yeah, we can see... They
basically did it in order to add more things in order to take up that same time again.
But everything that we're simming, other than Galactic War Sim is fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Once you've cleared it, you can sim all 12 nodes, jobs are good, and did you get an Omega? And what characters pop up? Lovely. Really like that. If you want to take the time to do it, you can. But you have the option of which way round to do it. But... other than Galactic War, I think everything else that's simmed takes minutes, moments. It's all quick stuff, really. Anyway, I don't know. What do we need? An 8-time speed or something, just to let us get through it in have real lives.
What is this life you speak of?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, to what else is saying, right? If they add like a tier 8 to Rancor, wouldn't you already have Han? So 2 points to that. One, people need shard shop currency. Shard shop is a huge factor in getting gear, and so I don't want to miss out on Han shards. That's the same reason why I'm still auto-joining the Rancor raid, right? It's because of some of those gear pieces. It's because of the Han shards for shard shop. So shard shop currency is still really important. Second, you have people right now, and Grande's doing this with some of the Dark Lords people. There's some guilds that are clearing like Heroic Sith raid that have a person in the guild that only has like 500,000 GP. And it's part of like the communities and stuff where they distribute and they try to get as many guilds clearing heroic and stuff as they can. And I know Grande and Sanely have been doing that with like the Dark Lords. And you have some people that are just like newer players but committed players, and they're in heroic Sith guilds. And they're in a guild where they might not be able to contribute a lot, but they're getting Treya shards. And so those people, for example, if we go to like a tier 8 Rancor, won't have Han. And so everyone's situation is a little bit different. I wouldn't want to drop the rewards from the Rancor from tier 7 if you go to tier 8. It's one of the things that they changed but then brought back that I think was kind of stupid. They did the challenges, right? And people were doing lower. I don't know how many of you guys remember because it's a little bit older. There used to be like a difference completely in the rewards that you got in the challenges. And so people would do lower ranks of the challenges that you get daily of because they had more of the gear that you wanted. And so instead of doing the top tier, because people had so many of those gear pieces and they were useless, people would go down about 2 of them. And that's how a lot of people were getting like those blue balls and that kind of stuff too. They had to go lower in order to gather them. So they changed it and they made it like all the different event tiers had the previous version plus extra. And so there was incentive to always do the hardest one. You never had to think about it. You always go straight to the hardest. They kind of changed that recently as well with the, I can't remember what it's called, those galactic bounties or whatever it is. You know, the ones where you get those ships?
Yep.
And the top one gives you ship omegas, which is useful, right? You get 2 ship omegas. But the stuff below it gives you a chance for the Lando Millennium Falcon. You don't get a chance at the Lando Millennium Falcon at the highest ones. Every single one below gives you a chance for the Lando Millennium Falcon and other Falcon and ships too. But the top one is only ship omegas. So I found myself being like, you know what? I'd rather get this character to this ship to 7-star rather than getting these ship omegas right now. So I've been doing like lower tiers, hoping to get the ship shards. But it's something that they kind of went back on compared to what they did the challenges. Like, and I don't understand why. Like, they made the changes to the challenges for that specific purpose, and they kind of like re-implemented that again with the galactic bounty. So hopefully they change that again. But they're not doing a great job on building on older content. It seems to be just constantly trying to push out new content. And it just eats up more time and more time and more time. And it's not even time that's on your schedule now. It's like set times for territory battles and set time for arena and set time for fleet and set time for territory battle, like in terms of when it starts and when you have to finish. And some of the stuff, the timing matters. If you don't fill platoons, you make your life difficult with the missions. If you don't have the right tunes for territory wars, right? No matter where it starts, you might have the perfect stuff for the first territory that people are clearing. But if you're not awake at 2 p.m. Eastern time because you're in Asia, then you're screwed. You don't get the first one, and maybe you won't be able to use your characters because you don't get to the other territories. I mean, there's a lot of different things that make this really difficult because they're trying to dictate your time, and I think they need to start moving away from it. So.
Yeah, I blame Finn.
Yeah.
Damn it, Finn.
I know. All right. So let's get to a fun question here. Jedi Training Bogus question. If Ranger was a toon, would his unique ability Ranger Rant require a Zeta or Omegas?
The
answer is very simple. He would be light side with a mask and it wouldn't matter.
Don't think so, Finn. Don't you ever say that shit to me again. I will stick you in the head with a lightsaber and mush it around your brain.
Jedi Knight Ranger.
Motor
Actually, I think it would require a new material. Infinity Mat.
Oh.
Yeah. I was going now. I was going to say you need a minimum
20
20 Zetas,
well, I was gonna
not
say
Zeta Mats.
Yeah, I think that
20 Zetas.
Can his be an ability that at 4 times speed
would it be
requires 5
but would it
minutes in order
be
to do an attack, and it spells out hashtag I blame Finn with his lightsaber, and then he throws it at the other team?
right? Like I write it in cursive and then just go raging. But would it be a part of my leader? Special or
No,
unique?
it would be your special ability.
Okay, special. Okay,
always go. If your character goes, that would be the ability, and it takes 5 minutes in order to cast it at 4 times speed, which means that it's actually set to be like a 20-minute or like a 10-minute cast. And so you will do your attack, and it'll take forever. So you can't let Ranger go, because if Ranger goes, he'll stall your team and it's game over.
Yep.
So he will be like the ultimate defensive character. You can't let Ranger go. He'll have a speed of 1. A base speed of 1. He'll have the lowest base speed of any character. So the opposing Thrawn will turn meter swap with Ranger and win.
Yeah, your leadership ability will be called I apportion blame, where you then go on to blame Finn, and by the end of it,
if Finn is in this team,
agree and all fall on their sabers.
Ranger would be the first character with a whole kit of Zetas. And level 90 while everyone's at level 85.
Yep.
all of his Zeta adds and also attack Finn if he's on the opposing team.
Right. If he's on the team,
added,
this ability is cooldown if Finn's on your team because it angers Ranger so much that he's there.
Summon Voltron and his flaming sword.
Oh, it'd be great if I had the summon Voltron ability. You see my character turn to Harry Carey. Hi everybody, here's Voltron.
His hair turns all white and spiky.
Oh my god.
Apparently penicillin could be used to treat flaming swords. Just putting that one out there.
Oh my god. Okay, next question.
Budweiser.
Chewy, question for Ranger. Did you get my screenshot of my guildmate getting first over King Felix?
Oh,
did I? I haven't looked at... Hold on.
And King Felix doesn't play about his arena shard.
Let me look here. Did you send that to me directly? Maybe I did. Oh yeah, let me look here. I did see this. Sorry, I'm coffee.
No worries.
Ha ha ha. Oh, King.
All right, next question.
That is great, Chewy. I did get that. Sorry, I meant to respond, but I got trying to do the stream and all the stuff. I hadn't had a chance to respond yet, but yeah, I did get that. That is great.
All right, next question. Trevor Christensen. Question: do you think the meta is balanced right now? Notice on 3 of my shards for my account, there is a nice mix of top teams competing in the top 10. Night Sisters, Zeta Maul, Commander Luke, Traya, and Revin mostly.
No, it's not balanced.
I would say hell no.
I think it's the most versatile it's ever been, yeah?
No.
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 Dude, it's like nothing.
Quit trolling, Xylo. God damn, dude.
It used to be that way before Traya. So
before Traya?
There was a lot of diversity because you would have Emperor Palpatine, you would have Bastila, and you had Night Sister. And
Rex
you would also be able to use Rex. You could use CLS. Like, that was the time where there was the most diverse meta.
Yeah,
and it wasn't too long ago. I can't remember. Well, like, if you go back, like, 2 years and stuff, where people were running hodgepodge teams with, like, a Qui-Gon lead with Scavenger Ray and Royal Guard. And, I mean, that was, like, the meta team. And Phasma, like, that. When that was the meta team, as weird as that is, like, that was when it was probably its most diverse. But there was no, like, synergy with that team, and people didn't want that. But since then, I think when Emperor Palpatine was still kind of number 1, but you had Bastila being a counter to that. You had Night Sisters being a counter to Bastila. You had CLS teams and Rex teams being able to kind of take over both of those, right? I think that was when it was most diverse. Then Traya came in, and it depends on how old your shard is, but older shards got taken over by Traya as soon as it started to get it. And Traya was super heavy on the top. And same thing now, depending on your shard, Revin has basically taken over. Now, if you're on a newer shard, you may only have like 1 or 2 people with Revin, and then you'll see the diversity. But if you're on an older shard, there's a chance that not only just your top 10, but maybe even your top 20 is filled with Revins. And the diversity, again, is kind of down. It's back to where it was with Traya. It's just more light side based. So
and even in my arena shard, mine's not like day one, but there's this guy. He's one of Cubs patrons. He's a big droid fan. He before the Treya meta, he would run like a full droid team with like HK lead, and even now still like he kind of runs this variance with JTR, BB-8, R2, T3 with both Zetas, and then his fifth kind of varies. But it just shows you like how if people want to run what they like to run in arena, still you can make it work in a sense.
Yeah.
All right. Next question, Mr. Pinch question. So when does the RSG version of the Thriller music video release? We'll have to plan something. We'll put that as like a milestone when we do our Tiltify stuff. If we hit like the 15,000 on our Tiltify, we'll have to do something fun with the people that come out to Disney, and we'll record it or something. We'll have to figure that out. We're still building out
big flash mob.
Yeah, flash mob in Disney. RSG flash mob just taking over someplace in Disney.
Doing Thriller.
Revin
wouldn't
moves
make any
across
sense
the
if
land. The midnight hour is close at hand.
All right, next question, Chewy question. Will the next legendary be 12 hours for you to beat as the last one went up 3 hours, or is it going up by 1.5, meaning that it'll be 13.5 hours?
Science.
I don't know. The next one could take Ranger 12 hours. Although, honestly, how are your Ewoks, Ranger?
They're decent.
Because I'm still going to suspect you're going to need geared Ewoks for a C-3PO coming soon as a legendary.
Could be.
Yeah, we've been talking about that one for a few weeks, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you may end up seeing that kind of stuff. All right. Paul Morgan question. Should you develop 2 different bounty hunter teams to gear 11, one for raid and one for another for territory war? If you want to. Yeah. I don't put a lot of emphasis on the raid stuff right now. You can if you want to get a high raid score, but it just doesn't seem that important anymore.
I mean, like if you have nothing else that you need to farm, you could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would just focus on more territory war teams, honestly. You can never have too many territory war teams for defense or offense. Because you never know when the meta and stuff is going to change. Like, Revin has thrown a kink in everything. And more likely than not, and we'll probably talk about this tonight on the Wednesday night stream, there is a high likelihood, I think, that a Grievous rework is coming this month as a result of the character of the month. And that may mean a whole new droid and or separatist meta that will also rival in defense in territory war, maybe not in arena, but in territory war, the Revin team, where a wall of Grievous teams will end up being dominant. So you never know what they're going to do. So it's always a good idea to start working towards territory war and just good overall characters. I wouldn't focus necessarily on raids unless your guild is still working to clear. Mr. Pennypinch, question for Ranger. Is it safe to call the current Revin created player Revin from KOTOR 1?
No.
You should call him. You can call him a created Revin player, and then his acronym would be crap.
I see what you did there. Aha!
All right. Next question is from Chewy. Question: is GK being logged in for November mean anything? And did Revin mess up what we're supposed to get for October with Night Sister login? I'm gonna say what it means. I think Grievous rework with Separatist and or Droid rework coming, and I would lean toward more Separatist because I think a new TB map is probably coming. Again, Geonosis with Midriff Padme, and then with Revin, I don't think that messed up anything. They planned these things well in advance, so I don't think it messed up anything. I think Night Sister login was just for Halloween and these kind of double 1,000 events and stuff that we're getting right now.
Of course, GK might mean a clone rework.
It could very well mean a clone and Separatist to build that Geonosis map because it would make perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
From who? Question: which Zetas does Hermit Yoda need?
Yes.
The strength flows through the Force for the raids and for survivability, but the Master's training is so intense. Like Grandmaster Yoda was one of my first double Zeta characters, and you see the investment once you put it into it. And Gear 12, that little green guy.
Still want to do that second one of his because I've got a Zeta Jolie.
Oh,
I'm
man.
just thinking those two combined is just, you are going to see a lot of aeronautical phones. God damn it, he revived again.
There's Fred Forsyth again.
Phone supply, yeah. I broke another one, yeah. I know, it's the 8th one this month. Yeah, what can I say? We're doing a lot of TW.
You know, I mean, like, aside the fact, you know, for the raid and for the Revin team, even if you have both of them under a Bastila lead, it makes that team that much better and that much more fun. So
yeah, little bastard.
All right. Next question is from Ski Trooper. Question: so why invest any resources in a raid team? If your guild is still working on the raid.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends on where you're at, and I mean, you still want to try to do what you can in raids. You know,
we can also say this, right? Territory War. Even though some of us like, and I'll say Territory War is probably my favorite game mode in the game, right? And it's because a lot of like the strategy that you do on defense and like trying to find uses for your characters on offense and all that stuff. The truth is, the difference between winning and losing in terms of rewards is not a lot. And so if there was a guild that was just like, yeah, we just place on defense and we don't really care, we don't really bother attacking and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. You're not really losing out on too much. It's like one Zeta mat. And if you want to try and win, that's fine. But why invest in any resources? Some people really like raid teams. Like that's what their fun in the game is. They really like to be like the top in the raid. They really like to get that top damage. They want to always try and beat their score, whatever it is, right? So it's whatever you enjoy is what you invest in. Now, if you're asking just strictly from what you get out of the rewards, right? Winning or losing in Territory Wars, the rewards really don't make a huge difference. What you're getting in the arena, or not in the arena, in the raids, there is a difference in what you get, but the actual impact in the game is kind of minimal from what you're getting. So it just depends on what you enjoy. If you want to put resources into a raid team, go for it. The main thing is just to put resources until you can actually get the raid on farm, and then afterwards it's up to you what you want to invest in.
Well, the funny thing is there are these guys that always want to get first in the raid and stuff, and then they complain about it when somebody in 34th spot gets better gear drops than they did.
I know, it's crazy.
Well, and then from like a player like me, like I used to, you know, primarily play for the raids after arena, right? And then, like Finn said, you know, Territory Wars is probably the most interesting phase in the game, right? So if you look at it from a perspective like, okay, I'm already doing well in arena, I'm already doing well in ships arena, you know, what can I benefit in my roster that's going to work for, you know, Territory Wars and the raids at the same time, and then kind of work down from that list, especially if the raid's already on farm. You know, your damage output's going to increase as you level your roster. The same way to look at it from a Territory War aspect, you know, you can benefit your guild, get those extra Zetas and materials from Territory Wars, and getting your better rewards from the raid. And, you know, like they said, it's so randomized. You know, you can get 40th one day in the Sith raid and get 2 full pieces, and then you can get top 10 and then you can get 1 or none full pieces. You know, it's like so inconsistent sometimes, and it's not to like discourage you from the Sith raid. It's just showing you that this whole game is RNG to begin with. So,
well, I'm honestly surprised that in Territory Wars, people haven't been doing what more have been. Put junk, and then in one of the last territories, just do a wall of Revins. And there you go.
Cheese it up and then Revins,
One of the funnest aspects that we're experiencing at the moment, oh, by the way, Grayskull, is we do a single toon attack for the heroic pit raid. So, for example, today it was Dengar. And it's a challenge then. Who can post the highest score with a single toon against the piggies? And we probably get more engagement from that than anything else. And it's something that we all kind of look forward to. IPD, Magma, it's reasonably low damaging toons, because obviously we don't want to take it into phase 2 or whatever. So it will always remain in phase 1. But just for the giggle. We've introduced an element of fun.
To put in like Fulcrum or Rolo.
Yeah, but it's finding the fun where you can take it from, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Grayskull.
All right. So kind of a follow-up that I just saw in the chat. Question from Ponton21.
Sure.
So isn't the second Zeta just a cooldown reset and turn meter after you lose an ally? How have you guys seen that be helpful on Hermit Yoda?
I don't have it, so I can't speak about it.
Jolie.
Well, no, I do have it.
Jolie.
Jolie revives them, and your Hermits reset to do it all over again.
Right.
It's a world of pain.
Yeah.
even without Jolie too, right? So on that team, you're right. I've also found a really nice use for Hermit Yoda in the raid itself, because what happens is
Hermit Yoda,
Hermit Yoda. Hermit Yoda's not strength flows, do or do not. So when somebody dies, right, he resets all of his cooldowns. And like if they had master's training, and then he can just go again, right? But you need the master's training in order to do the to stealth. The applying master's training is part of what you need in order to stealth. So when you use your Wampinator squad, it really helps when things die and you put master's training up so your Hermit Yoda can survive. That's one of the biggest issues that I've seen with people, and there is some RNG aspects to it. But the thing I've seen the most with people that have been running the different teams in Heroic Sith is that their Hermit Yoda doesn't always stay stealth and can get targeted. And if he's not stealth, then he doesn't have all of that evasion, and it can become a problem. So that's one of the things I've actually noticed quite a bit helps me with the do or do not Zeta, which is just the additional kind of survival that you get with Hermit Yoda, because he keeps on getting his stealth up over and over again. So it does have a purpose. It's not necessary. You can RNG it away, but it's a nice Zeta.
You can run some really fun variants too, like stretching your roster out. In the earlier stages, I would run like Boba Fett, Thrawn, GK, and then Hermit Yoda, Wampa, and then I kind of switched it up in between that too as well, like subbing GK out or Boba Fett out for Pathfinder, or a character like Pathfinder and Boba Fett on the same team, giving Master's training to Pathfinder. As soon as Pathfinder dies, comes back, resets Yoda's cooldowns, and you keep spreading the buff through the team because Pathfinder is getting his own buffs in general, and you keep finding some way to come back and give Pathfinder Master's training again. So the team's consistently rezzing, and Yoda's consistently getting those buffs all the way back, and his cooldowns reset. Calling everyone to assist, Wampa's smashing them.
Smash.
Brains. Okay. Next question is from What Else 73. Question: isn't it time for Houndstooth to be farmable?
It's in that time frame, yeah.
Soon, team.
And get ready for Millennium Falcon to be a legendary in December.
That's right.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think
the bounty hunter ships, because Cad Bane's ship wasn't in that era, right?
It doesn't really matter. So you could use all the bounty hunters to capture Han and Chewie, but it didn't matter there.
I honestly don't think we're going to be getting the Millennium Falcon. I think we're going to be getting another legendary capital ship.
I think we're getting that this month.
Sith capital ship.
You're saying Sith. I think we're going to get Grievous capital ship this month, and we're going to get Millennium Falcon next month.
I could see the Sith ship too, because all the Sith.
But February is their typical Sith month.
Yeah, that's true too. Maybe they could release a Separatist or a
Dark Side Revin.
Because we already have the Galactic Republic capital ship, yeah. So we're missing that Separatist capital ship if they're going for this Separatist Galactic Republic rework.
Malevolence Or
So
Malevolent.
We're missing Separatists. We're missing
Malevolent.
First Order, and we're missing
Malevolent.
Sith.
well, yeah, and then the the Resistance too. So, but looking at what we do have in game, with Mace Windu's capital ship being the Galactic Republic and sort of underutilized, right? You're missing that reflecting ship in the game too as well.
You know why the Resistance one isn't in the game yet, right? They ran out of gas getting there.
Shut up.
Next question. Tech Jericho, can you run over the Phase 4 Night Sister team and how the mechanics work? Skeltrix, Solo, Nihilus, and I can't seem to get close to that, and I have max stars and zetas. Mods is going to be a big component of that too. So
you want him hitting hard, right? You want him hitting hard.
He wants to know how the Phase 4 Night Sister team works.
Like zombies the only one you want go fast, and then the rest like crit damage, offense, flat offense.
Yep. So your overall team: Asajj, Daka, Mother Talzin, Talia, and Night Sister Zombie. And the overall mechanics of it is that you want all of your Night Sisters to hit really, really hard, except for Zombie. Zombie you want to be fast. And the whole premise of it is that Asajj will gain, Asajj's lead when you have a Zeta will grant all Night Sisters turn meter if they drop below 100% health. And so you keep on healing because what happens is the Bonds of Weakness will do damage to your team whenever they use an ability. And so you keep on using heals of Asajj, Daka whenever they're up. You use Talia's basic whenever it's up, and her basic heals all the Night Sisters. And so you're just constantly healing after the damage, and that will then give everyone full turn meter, or not full turn meter, or full health, which will then add turn meter, and your Night Sisters will just kind of continually keep going. Now, as you attack Nihilus, he keeps on gaining speed over and over again. So as Bonds of Weakness stacks, as Nihilus gains a lot of turn meter, you'll see that eventually he'll go, but your Night Sisters have gone multiple times because they've constantly just replenished their turn meter bar. That's the overall kind of basic of the mechanic. Now, what you need from a mod perspective, you need a lot of damage. You're focusing heavy on damage. If you can get good speed, that works. Any extra speed kind of helps with getting your characters going, but you don't need the speed as much. And you're just constantly trying to heal with Daka. You're trying to heal with Asajj. You're healing with Talia. You're taunting with Zombie. You're spreading Plague. You start Plagues on the ads because you're going to have a hard time hitting Plague on the actual bosses. And you let the Plague spread onto either Nihilus or Scion. And as you go, that Plague will kind of spread back and forth between Nihilus and Scion. And you'll see that kind of continue to stack. And so then the basic of Talzin will cause the damage to happen every time she does her basic with the stack. And so, I mean, that's kind of I want to say the high-level overview of how the Phase 4 Night Sister team works. Skeltrix goes into a lot more detail in his videos with regards to like how he mods them, what he's focused on, crit damage, offense, health on certain characters to increase the healing. Like, so he goes into a lot of details on that. He does really nice raid videos. So when you guys look at it, that's the overall kind of premise of the attack. If you're trying to understand what he's trying to do.
It's a great team.
And then also one more thing too, like when the team first like surfaced, Sir Georges was one of the first ones to make a really good content on the team itself. One thing I really picked up from not just that video, but the fact that Night Sister Zombie now implements her own healing mechanic, right? It's always good to heal like as much as you possibly can. Not like every turn to miss out on damage output, but you want to feed your team more turn meter to give them that advantage over Nihilus's turn meter. And then, like also another thing that people ask a lot is why don't, you use the AoEs as much as possible? You want to single down on Nihilus specifically and reduce his turn meter because the more you're hitting Scion, you're giving him speed. So you're fueling him to go more regardless how much you reduce his turn meter. So just keep those two things in mind as well.
All right, let me see how many questions we have. I see at least 3. Let me double check here. Okay, we have 6 questions left, so we'll start running through these. Mike, question for you from Paul Morgan. What lineup works best for first order ships?
First order ships?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I don't know. Hang on. I'm looking at my shippy whips. First order ships. Good question. First order. There we are. So, I'm just looking. So we got 4 ships. We've got the shuttle, the silencer, and then first order TIE fighter and first order special forces TIE fighter. Personally, I think I would go along the lines of silencer and first order TIE fighter, and this is literally as I'm looking at it, and I'm just trying to put together a squad. And I would put Biggs in there because your first order TIE fighter can target lock. There's no guarantee to it. So your silencer should stun their TIE advanced if they're in the lineup or whatever. Your first order TIE fighter will then put a target lock down. Which will proc your Biggs. And if you've got a max shuttle, that just bringing that off the bench will demoralize them. Because it gets, I believe, I'm just looking at my shuttle now, that...
its reinforcement is amazing.
Its reinforcement is definitely amazing. So it's Kylo Ren's command shuttle gains 20% turn meter when an enemy reinforces. First order allies gain half that amount. So it's giving out turn meter to everyone. And also, I believe it's got retribution, hasn't it? Or countering or something. It's got, they're just bringing that in. And also, of course, it's got that naughty begone buffs option. So
the one part I like the most about that one is his little, you brought in a reinforcement. He doesn't go right away. They don't go right away when they bring in reinforcements.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on a moment, mate.
Yeah.
just wait there. We're going to have a couple of...
Hold that thought. I'm going to shoot you first.
Yeah, we're going to shoot you first. Yeah, just stand there. Yeah. That's it.
Pew, 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 pew. Gotcha.
And it's like the ideal capital would be Executrix, the turn meter phase, and you're gonna sit there and ability block and expose the team, and your team's just getting more turn meter. It's gonna just crush them.
You can also get away with using Chimera. You'll be using the basic Chimera though a lot because you can trigger silencers advantage with Chimera's basic.
Hey, fuels the
Ranger.
team.
Hey,
Ranger.
Yeah.
I can't get into the game.
Which one?
Galaxy Heroes.
Oh.
It's saying connection error.
It's because you're too busy playing Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm.
All right. Question, RSG Vormax. Does anyone know what yesterday changed after maintenance downtime? They did not announce it.
They nerfed Newt again.
What? What did you say?
They did not announce it, and chances are that it has to do something with what they're rolling out this month, and I would probably guess it's a new territory battle. Again,
Newt Gunray nerf.
And hopefully Houndstooth and the 2 bounty hunters will be farmable.
Yep.
Mother.
It would be so hilarious if the separatist rework comes along and they end up making Newt more OP than Revin.
Cut. That would be
What'd you say?
Oh, breaking news. My Thrawn is now full 6E mods.
Okay.
It is complete. He has full 6E mods. Haha. Okay. Next question from Chewy. Question: with the Zal team to defeat the Revin team, do you need Traya? If you do, who can you sub out for her? Yeah, you do.
You do.
You need the isolate on Revin, otherwise everything gets screwed. So if you don't have it, your only option is maybe to try and get a fracture. And to be lucky, and you'll need your timing correct in order to do the Dispel with Scion, followed by the Force Strain with Nihilus, and to get an Annihilate on Revin early, if you don't get the Isolate on Revin. So, yeah, you kind of need Treya. You might be able to get away with it, but remember, Thrawn is not a Sith. And so if you run a Zal team, he's not going to stealth.
Yeah, and Revin will usually target and kill Thrawn first.
Yep.
I wonder how Savage's special will work on Revan's kit, because like if he's hitting him at half health, then that's a kill, right?
No, it does 999.
It's massive damage, not insta kill. The only insta kill is Nihilus.
But Revan's kit is when it's dropped down to 1%, and if you hit him with Savage at like 50%, it's a kill. Yeah.
No,
so
it's not an instant kill.
No,
it's not an instant kill. It does damage. It does 99k damage.
Right, but no character in the game has over 100,000 health.
For 9,000?
Under 50% health, though, right? So if Savage is hitting him, it's not an insta kill. I get that, but it's 99.
Yeah,
he'll still revive.
He'll
still do the
Revin
kit.
Revin res.
All that goes through my mind is Ranger in your video 999.
Yeah, and
you can use the ability on he's below 50%, do massive damage, he'll die, and
your point
was to promote your video.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, next question. Jeff Incredible, what do you think about Kira, Han, Chewie, YOLO, and L3 against the meta?
No. Sorry, it doesn't work. Oh, God. Yeah, unfortunately, no.
One word, marked.
Yeah. Good times.
I had a quick look. I said that we put out, I think we put 22 Revens in our first node, and there's 58 hits so far, and we still have 15 of them there.
That reminds me, I noticed something earlier today with Treya versus like the OG Chewie and Han combo. If you isolate Chewie, it disables Han's counterattack.
If you isolate Chewie, it disables Han's counterattack?
Han will stop counterattacking when you hit him.
Yeah. That's something that works. Yeah. That's confirmed.
As a bug?
No.
Yeah, I think it's a bug or something.
Well, because of what isolate does.
But why would an isolate on Chewie affect a counterattack on Han?
I know.
Because Han's unique makes him counterattack, and if he's under CLS, that gives counterattack. There's no reason why an isolate on
I think it's a bug. But it stops
Han doesn't
from
have.
counterattacking.
Well, the other thing, Han doesn't have 100% chance to counterattack anyways, right?
Right.
So it could be that he's just not getting the counterattack, but it's still, if it's like 100% chance that he's not getting it, then something is funky.
That's what I ran into today.
Okay. Hellenix, question: after playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for nearly 3 years, developing so many tunes out and grinding like everyone else, I feel like my roster is effectively useless with that Jedi Knight Revan. That wasn't a question, was it? Your roster is not useless.
It's not. It's just it's limp at the moment. That's all.
And right when that question was made, a dude over at CG that came up with this whole idea is like, "Oh, mission accomplished."
There are ways around.
Right. It's just we're talking about arena, right? But
it has to do with mods. Honestly, this whole game is really mods. Revan has exacerbated that. There was always a way that you could counter a team, right? And there's still counters to the Revan team. But if you don't have comparable mods, or at least close to comparable mods, there's not an easy meta or easy counter meta to Revan. Like that Maul team doesn't work if you don't have reasonable mods on your team. You can beat Revan with your triumvirate lead with Enfys, but you need good mods on your Treya in order to survive the initial onslaught. If you don't have a lot of mods that give protection and give that additional survival to Treya, it's not going to work. So it's a little bit more mod dependent now to have a counter team to Revin than it was before. But just because you don't have Revin doesn't mean anything. Keep in mind also for Territory Wars, people will figure out a counter to Revin. It's probably going to be droids. You're going to see a lot more droids here shortly, and probably Grievous being a counter to Revin, since Grievous is an anti-Jedi. And so if it becomes a droid, then the Revin stuff is going to kind of phase out relatively quick, and then you're going to have all of your other tunes becoming more useful. So don't think as your roster as being effectively useless.
How annoying is it that Cad Bane is absolutely useless against Revin? And yet he's another Jedi hater.
Yeah.
Don't hate the player.
Well,
hate the game.
I also remember.
I don't. I love Cad Bane.
Wow, Ugnaught and Eve Koth are gonna be awesome against this guy.
I wonder is it that?
I said their kit would be good and to prepare and not to put any gear on them.
If you farm up droids, and I'm talking to you, good old Maurice, you can blame Finn when they don't work.
I also didn't say to actually farm them. I said get ready to.
I'm kidding, Maurice, by the way.
Yeah.
I never said to actually invest anything in Ugnaught or Imperial or I'm a Gundai or Eth Koth. I just said their kit was anti-droid and it looks like they may have something in the raid. And Ugnaught actually worked relatively well in Phase 3 under an old Ben lead for a little while there. Because he would freaking dodge everything that they were throwing at him. It was actually pretty fun. But I'm a Gun-D was actually one of the characters that you could use for the, what's it called? The Kenobi Sync in Phase 1. Right? So he had to use. Ugnaught had to use. Eth Koth always sucked. I mean, I was just hoping for something with Eth Koth. So Eth Koth just continues to suck. But droids, I don't even know if it's a Separatist or a droid rework, but it wouldn't surprise me if droids become good all of a sudden. T3 is already being used as a counter to Revin. So if they actually do a decent rework of Grievous, then yeah, I can see T3, Grievous, maybe a B1 coming into the game, supplementing Grievous. Like there's some options there. I hope they do Grievous well.
Plo Koon's the only Jedi that out of the kind of the central core that I would say is worth investing, but that's not for arena or anything. That's
mainly for ship.
That's for ship.
I was high on Plo Koon for a while though, and this was a while ago when Sunfac was only chromiums. I don't know if you remember that, but Sunfac was only chromium, right? And the best thing about Sunfac was that not only was he super tanky, but his basic would allow him to dispel. And I loved the combo of having I'm a Gun-D lead with Plo Koon, because Plo Koon became a free-to-play version of Sunfac. Like, if you attack, he would counterattack and dispel stun or taunts, like all the time. It was awesome.
Back in my day.
Yes, back in my day, Plo Koon actually had a use if you really invested in him. People hate on Plo Koon. They need to stop hating. Where's Jedi Master Adastra to yell at all of you people?
Back in my day when we had to farm our beta shards.
I know, right?
Farm that? No, you had to complete achievements. God damn. Farm Vader. We never had to farm Vader. You had to complete achievements. Like the stupidest thing ever. I have to level up a character in order to get more beta shards. All right.
Back in my day,
I had to spend crystals to get, Darth Maul.
John Davies. Last question. I have been playing Superstar on Super Nintendo. What other Star Wars games do you guys play?
Battlefront at the moment. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually have a Jedi Academy. I want to start playing that a little bit more. Because we have the stream, right? But the stream has nothing to do with the actual game. It's just what's called. I actually want to play Jedi Academy a little bit.
Sure.
And do that. You do have Knights of the Old Republic, although we haven't played that, right? Mm-hmm. And we are, well, not Ranger, unless you can get your account back, looking into the Old Republic, because I guess there's stuff in there. So Star Wars game-wise right now, though, it's just Battlefront and Galaxy of Heroes, but we're looking at other.
Yeah.
You know what would be really cool? If they were to do a Star Wars game that was like Heroes of the Storm.
All the characters are DLC, you're screwed.
Heroes of the Storm.
It's an EA game, you have to pay for any character to play at the start. They call it free, but you have to pay for your first character. So, good luck.
Well, that's why Revin had the high ground. Supposedly there's some new Star Wars games coming out, multiplayer Star Wars games coming out, so we'll see.
All right, I think that's it for
Yep.
questions and stuff. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Like always, we ask that you give us a thumbs up on the video. It helps spread our content out there in the YouTube world. If you haven't subscribed already and you like the content, please subscribe so you know when we're live streaming. We do a lot of live streams for a lot of different games, including this one. Don't forget, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will have our big Star Wars Galaxy Heroes Wednesday night stream. We're the longest running live stream in the community, and where we will check out the latest and greatest in Star Wars news and notes and give you a little bit of insight of what it all means. I'm trying to think what else. If you haven't checked out our Patreon, please check out our Patreon. And then Dr. Finn, if you want to give the information about ACS, go for it.
All right. So we are doing a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, and we'll be running a half marathon in April. There's a link being shown by Nightbot where you guys can donate directly to the ACS if you want, but we are working on a Tiltify campaign. We still have some stuff to work out, so I have a feeling it won't be ready for Wednesday, but or tonight's Wednesday night stream. But I am trying. And we're planning on doing a lot of stuff there for you guys to be able to donate and have fun like we did with last year. We are getting some stuff that we'll be able to give away this time in terms of other prizes directly from the American Cancer Society. They're really invested in making this a big thing. So I hope you guys are all up for supporting the American Cancer Society, and we'll be doing a lot of fun stuff here. So be on the lookout for that link. And yeah, there'll be more information to come. It's still kind of a work in progress now that we have our GoFundMe settled. To let you guys kind of know what's going on in the background, we're finalizing our travel, so we'll be able to. Actually, we can probably tell you guys right now. If you want to join us on that weekend of April 6th and 7th, we will be at the Disney Pop Century Resort. So it's one of the Disney hotels. So on the 6th and 7th, we will be at the Disney Pop Century Resort. So if you guys are wanting to come there, you can obviously stay at your own hotel. But if you want to be in kind of the same hotel as us, that is the hotel we will be at. We will be doing a park on the 6th and the 7th. But on the 7th in the morning, we have the run at 5:30 in the morning. So we'll be doing the run, and then we'll be going into the park on Sunday. If you are going, let us know. We're going to be seeing what we can plan in terms of like having a dinner together and all of that stuff. We do have some events we're planning with the American Cancer Society, and we'll see kind of what our schedule dictates. But we're going to be working on making it a really, really fun weekend and making it great with the American Cancer Society. So just be on the lookout for more information, and we'll be developing that Tiltify page and be able to give you guys all these like fun opportunities to donate. We'll have you may or may not know we're doing the Stew Strong campaign, #StewStrong, and we're going to have a lot of things for you guys to help support that as well. So just be on the lookout for all of that.
All right. So on behalf of myself and the RSG crew, thank you guys for joining us on the lunch stream. Check us out tonight for our RSG Wednesday night stream. Are we going to do any Heroes of the Storm between now and then, Dr. Finn?
Yeah, we may even, I don't know if you're up for trying to stream it or not. We'll see.
No.
But yeah.
No.
Okay. Then you guys can hang out with us in the chat as well. We have the Heroes of the Storm voice chat.
Yeah, which like hanging out with you guys.
We'll hang out in there, and you guys can just come and chat, and Grande distracts us, and it's all kinds of fun.
Yep, we do that. So just be on the lookout for us being down there in the channel. You're more than welcome to come join us and just join us in the Discord. All right, everyone have a great rest of your day, and we will holler at you later. Peace.